over time titles change, but I consider myself to be the producer, really, for the fashion show. But the role that I take in it is really production. There's so many parts to it. It's obviously, and doing it in a school situation is quite different to, say, doing it for a client, for a designer. You know, here in the school, it's also that combination of working with the designers on their collections and really understanding and knowing their philosophy and knowing them as designers, which also leads me into the type of show that we're going to produce, the vibe of the show, from the venue to the casting to the vibe for hair and makeup, the music, to all of them, the styling. You know, and it also depends on the moment that we're in and the time that we're in. So, you know, it's like any job. You're working for a client, whether it's a school or a designer or a retailer, depending on what the project is. And there's a brief. I mean, I think for the school, my brief would always be to show the student work, or we don't call them students anymore. They're, you know, to show the designer's work on a platform, the most professional platform that we can do, but at the same time works for the university as a kind of branding tool for the university, but also launches the careers of these young designers. And I think any show needs to have a brief. There needs to be communication with the client. My kind of philosophy is to really show the work in the most professional way that we can. You know, told what the budget for the show will be. And I guess my role here at the school producing this show is broader than just the production of the show, because I oversee the PR, the marketing, and also the design of the collection. So it's a different kind of thing. It's a very unique production, which I think a lot of people in my position around the world in different schools are all going to have that same parts of it. So many different things in the day-to-day, but the way that the show or the production works for me is having a really solid understanding of the clothes, of the product. That's the first thing I do. Also meeting with all of the designers from undergraduate and graduate. You know, I like to see who they are, where they're from, and to kind of put them into the reality of the world that we're living in. So my next job is going to be casting, really. And my philosophy for casting has always been, regardless of where I am or what I'm doing, I like to represent the world on the runway. I want it to be United Nations. I'm excited with the casting, opening with a really divine transgender model. Lots of very interesting and ethnicities from all over the world. So I'm excited. I'm really excited by the casting. I'm hoping that we can also be part of moving fashion forward, because that's what's really necessary. Really, where we're at. I know a lot of designers are doing it, you know, and I want the school to be at the front of that, not at the back of it. You know what I mean? So. I meet with the president of the school. You know, the university has a lot of different fantastic locations in the city, and we've shown in pretty much all of them, from here in the auditorium to the cannery to the warehouse building to the church on the Post Street building. And, you know, for a few years we were putting up a huge tent in South of Market and kind of created our own Bryant Park in South of Market. So I've been wanting to do a fashion show at the school's church at St. Bridget's for several years. We were going to do it there for 2020, and then the pandemic hit. So she approved that we would do the show in the church. So of course it's a very strong venue. It's a very triggering venue for some people. It's a Catholic church. It's beautiful, beautiful windows. So that kind of sets a vibe for that, something a little bit maybe more moody. For me, it feels really poignant to do a church because my last collection and show with Alexander McQueen was in a church in London. It was the Dante show, and it was a kind of a major moment in everyone's career that was associated to that. You know, that was the one that I did before I then moved here to work for the school. So it just kind of feels like a really good circle for that. Then obviously next will be hair and makeup. We work with two really professional teams. The makeup is with Mac. Their lead person is everything west of the Rockies. Victor is the kind of main person, so he's leading that. He's put a team together. And then John Raymond, who was with Aveda and has a company called Spoken Wheel, he does the hair. And those two guys have been working with us for over a decade on our New York shows, and they do San Francisco. They've come out to San Francisco to do the show because the Academy show is a really major West Coast show. So they do that. So, you know, professional models, professional hair and makeup, professional production, working with the PR to make sure we invite the right people, following up with people to come. Our day of show will be crazy. We have a couple of girls coming in from LA that I'm really super excited about, two models from LA. So we would never actually seen them I've seen video of them, I've seen them, you know, all of that. So we haven't fit them. So they're going to be arriving here like at 8 o'clock on the morning of the 12th. These are my two flying girls. Two super gorgeous girls. So we have to fit them in their looks really quickly. We get to the venue, everything should be set up apart from their full looks. If anything needs to be altered, that'll happen here and be brought over later. At 11, hair and makeup teams arrive, two models arrive for demonstration. So the lead makeup and the lead hair will do demonstrations of the look to their artists, so everyone's up to speed. Hair is going to be quite involved. It's not a crazy hairstyle, but it's involved. I've been very inspired by the students this year with their crazy under dye kind of hair, and so there's one of the makeup people right now. We're talking to each other every day. She's at home in LA, bleaching and dyeing real human hair to put extensions into the hair. At noon, all the other models arrive. I pull them out at 1 to do rehearsal, which is quite a challenge in that venue. It's a really complicated runway, really complicated. And we have a lot of really green models. And when I mean green, they've never done shows before. Because they're super nervous, because it's a big show. It will be what it will be.